Welcome back to Basement Video Podcast with your host, John.
Alex.
Producer.
And me,
Bruiser?
Andrew.
Bruiser.
Bruiser.
Alex, that's mine. He printed the ear because I got it at Valley Village. It's like a designer toy. It's actually worth quite a bit, but it was missing the ear. And Andrew got a 3D printer, so he printed the ear. It's not painted yet, but he printed a new ear for me
Why'd you get a 3D printer?
to do that.
Just for John.
I asked him to.
Yeah.
Once I'm done with all the stuff I need, he's selling it.
Okay.
Putting it right on the black market.
Yep.
Selling it in the deep web, huh?
Yep. Deep web, the double deep.
Anyway,
What did we watch,
I
Atso?
don't know, some shitty werewolf movie.
You liked it.
It was okay.
It was
It
fun.
was good.
It was okay.
It was a homage to all the old Universal monsters.
I think I just like.
We watched Werewolf by Night.
I think I just like werewolves that are like that actually look like wolves, not just some guy who just didn't shave for like a couple weeks.
Oh, you mean like American Werewolf in London type shit?
Or Teen Wolf.
I don't like the Teen Wolf werewolves.
Well, Teen Wolf Werewolf is kind of like this one.
Yeah.
Teen Wolf Werewolf.
Well, even if you look at the old Universal
Yeah, well,
Wolf
that's
man,
the
it's
thing,
just
the
a guy.
It's like the original, yeah.
It's the original design, and not to like I don't know, like I'd say anywhere between the
It
60s
just
and
doesn't-
80s, they didn't do the weird, not the weird, but the cool transformations.
It just doesn't look as threatening, you know. Like it just literally looks.
So
like
if I turned into that in front of you, I'd be like, you don't look that threatening.
as you claw my fucking.
Yeah.
It's like, he was huge. Wasn't
He was taller.
Canonically, like his character when he's human is like 5'9" or something.
That guy didn't look too tall.
Yeah, it was like 5'9" or something like that. And then like when he turns into a werewolf, he's supposed to be like 6'8".
He did look taller than
Yeah, he
everyone
was way
once he
taller.
became the werewolf, and he was hunched over
I mean, I
too.
would hope so. Like if that'd be kind of stupid if you stayed in the same size. Imagine Nicole being a werewolf, but she still had like that gremlin shaped size. Wow.
Imagine. How's it start off? You probably like the beginning the most because you like the hunter characters.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like the idea of like a secret society of like people who hunt like mythical creatures. The first one that started it was like
Was it the first one, the Bloodstone family?
yeah, some guy like who's like a generic like Van Helsing. He like found the Bloodstone and his last name was called Bloodstone. I don't know. Did he like was that a coincidence or I'm pretty sure they just like called it the Bloodstone because it looks like a stone that's all bloody or.
I don't know if this is anything, and I might be remembering things wrong, but I know at some point in Captain America's comic run, I don't know, I think it was the 70s or 80s. I could also be wrong with that, but it was called Captain America Bloodstone. Was this like arc? And I don't know if it has anything to do with that at all. Do you know?
You're asking the wrong person. We used to have a guy who knew this sort of stuff.
I read it. I just don't remember if it was Bloodstone or Blood Gem. I don't know if it was connected to this family at all.
Well, the thing is about the time frame is that like this whole Bloodstone family takes place in like way
This
back.
isn't supposed to actually, eh?
No.
Because like if you look at the dates of the tombs, I think it's still before MCU, but the last person died in like the 20s, I think. But then you look at I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless.
But they could live long times though, because look at that guy, the crypt keeper that they had, the animatronic dead guy. He was like what? I think they said he was like in his hundreds, so they could live for a long time.
Who knows? Maybe the
'Cause the
stone gives you like super.
Bloodstone.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, we saw what it does. I don't really know the properties of it.
It somehow wards off supernatural beasts, but like I don't know. That seems very oddly specific. That it just affects supernatural beasts. I guess. Like what do you consider like a supernatural beast? I guess like.
Like would Hulk be considered, or
Yeah,
because he's
well,
scientifically modified?
Yeah,
would he?
exactly. It's like, well, what about Spider-Man, the Hulk, or like mutants or whatever? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
It's-
we don't know in the MCU. Well, are mutants? Because in the comics, mutants are as old as fucking time, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
But
like,
in the MCU, is it gonna be?
I
We
mean,
don't know.
Apocalypse was like the first mutant. He was like the Egyptian pharaoh, pretty much at that point.
Yeah, and that was not even the beginning of his time. But we don't know what that's gonna be in the MCU. Because that X-Men movie's not canon.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like we've seen Charles Xavier, but that's a completely different universe.
The only mutants technically that we have right now confirmed in the MCU are Kamala Khan.
Who's that?
Miss Marvel.
Oh,
Because she's technically a mutant. Someone else. And some people from She-Hulk, because they had little mutant characters show up.
oh, really?
Like, not little. They're grown men. That just means
They're
they had
tiny,
little parts in like one episode. And then Wolverine's going to be in the MCU now, like Hugh Jackman, because they announced
So like
he's going to be in
mutants
Deadpool.
are a thing now.
Yeah, but the only like ones that those are the only confirmed ones. But we don't know any backstory.
I thought Hugh Jackman was done with Wolverine.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds has been bugging him for like 10 years to be in a Deadpool movie, so he said he'll be in the. They probably just backed a truck up to his house and dumped a bunch of money on it.
Why not? Why not be? He's like obviously like really good at it. Like who cares? Just be Wolverine. I mean, I wouldn't be sick of being Wolverine. You're fucking Wolverine.
He's like 50 something though, man.
So
I wouldn't care either, but like, I don't know. There's like,
like what if I told you, John, you're gonna sign a contract
Yeah, I
to be
would.
Wolverine for like the next 50 years?
the only thing that like I can see, but like who cares? In my opinion, I don't care. People are like Wolverine's like 5'9", and Hugh Jackman's like 6'2". I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah.
They make him look small.
I'm just saying,
Well, that's like-
bring
that's ki-
Danny DeVito in.
That would be.
I think
Funny.
that's stupid.
I think people were saying Daniel Radcliffe was gonna be cast for a bit, and I wouldn't have minded that.
Mm.
Or like a Canadian person because he's Canadian.
I think I did like all the hunters. The one that my favorite was probably like
The guy?
the fat guy.
Yeah.
I also like the David Bowie one. I also like seeing like all the. It's funny how
cool
they have like all the
weapons.
busts of all the monsters they hunted, but it looks.
Those are
really-
all MCU monsters too.
Yeah, like the Yeti,
Bigfoot.
yeah, big. What's what a Yeti is?
I know, but that one's Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot is a Marvel character.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like that's people. I watched this video and people were freaking out because like, oh, Bigfoot's in the MCU,
Well, he's dead.
but he's dead. I was like, yeah, but his head's right there.
um.
One of
What was?
the two-headed monster. You remember that one?
Yeah.
They showed the picture of.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, that's an Atlantean monster, which I know they're not calling it Atlantis in Wakanda Forever because obviously Aquaman happened first, so they can't take that name for the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what they're calling it now, but anyways, that's the wherever Namor is from, that's a monster from his thing. So we might see a version of a two-headed monster in Wakanda Forever.
That'd be kind of cool to see a Namor movie. Like
He's the main villain in Wakanda Forever that comes out in like a couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Bro.
And people are saying the end credit scene is gonna have Doctor Doom. Yeah.
I did like the scene where like the guy was like asking us like, which one of these monsters were you taking part of? He's like,
I fought him once.
yeah,
Part of the
and
vampire
it's
one.
the bust of a vampire, which is funny because his story arc is that he
He fights
he
Dracula.
fights Dracula. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of really
Because it wasn't Dracula the first monster comic they had, and then the werewolf, like Werewolf by Night.
Well,
or whatever.
I looked up a
Jack.
little bit of like the lore, and it's like his great grandfather had beef with Dracula, so he tried to like kill him,
Yeah.
but then Dracula cursed him with what it was that werewolf disease called
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called.
yeah. So he cursed him with he gave him the werewolf curse.
Yeah, because Dracula comic came out first, and then they introduced the werewolf in it. Introduced Blade's first thing was in it. Moon Knight's first appearance was in a werewolf comic.
Mm.
That's like the Werewolf by Night comics and Moon Knight were like connected for a while.
Well, that's the thing is that like
Do you think that's why they picked this one to go off? Because Moon Knight just happened.
Yeah, it could be. Well, like,
Moon Knight, Morbius, like it's.
well,
a
think
lot
of all the
things,
dark
too.
characters they're bringing. Like they might be doing Midnight Suns
Mm.
because you got Blade, you got Moon Knight, Ghost Rider.
Morbius.
Hopefully soon, because I don't know if you keep up with Hasbro stuff, but they do these things called HasLabs, and they're like doing like a $500 Ghost Rider thing right now. So they might be bringing him in. More
With Nicolas Cage, though, right?
Nicolas Cage is playing Dracula in a movie coming up, and he looks pretty funny, and I'm gonna watch it.
I think Nicolas Cage is okay in movies so long as he's like a comedic relief. Like it's like I think I think
some
he's-
older movies are good when it's not comedy.
I think he succeeds in roles when he's like
Actually, have you seen Mandy?
no
That movie's fucked, and that's recent.
what
A biker gang kidnaps his wife to sacrifice her to something, and he takes a bunch of acid and kills all of them.
My kind of movie.
And like literally the lighting in this movie, like it's like a pink light, and all you see is like him like covered in fucking blood. That's a really good
Why
movie.
would he take acid to murder the people who murdered his wife?
I don't remember what happened. I watched it when it came out a few years back. I don't know if he took acid or they drugged him and his wife, and he's on the acid while he's trying to find her again because they drugged them. I don't remember.
Sounds like a trip.
Ha!
I thought it was just like really funny because like I remember when we were watching it and the coffin said this side
This
up.
way up, and you.
And I was like, why would do coffins normally say that? I don't believe so. And then it made sense because like they turned him into fucking like a marionette like puppet doll thing.
Yeah, it looked like an animatronic guy.
I was like, if I ever die, please turn that into my body where I'm just like telling like shitty jokes that I'm gonna write before I die or something like that.
Apparently, the new Blade script was supposed to have Dracula as the main villain,
Mm.
but now the director backed out, so now they're rewriting the whole script.
Blade, the second movie was actually really fucking good. Like I remember recently, me and Max watched all three of them. The first one was just Blade.
Wasn't that like 10 years ago?
No, it was like at least like a year ago, two maybe.
The Blades?
Blades.
I think that was like 8 years ago.
What are you talking about?
You and Matt, because wasn't that at your old house?
No.
Oh, all right, whatever, go on.
So we watched all the movies recently, and the third one was like where he fights Dracula.
That one you got fucking Ryan Reynolds in there.
Yeah, and the second one though was like by far my favorite because they were like, it's a new blend of vampires that have their hearts are like iron plated or something like that, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can just pierce them. And they're like super immortal. They're not just like normal immortal. They're like you chop their head off, you chop their eye off, you can chop any bits, and it's like they're all functioning like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like it's really fucking creepy. So it's like, how do you kill something like that? And it's just like, I just
People give Spider-Man a lot of credit for saving the Marvel Universe, but Blade was the first movie that Marvel did, and while they were trying to save their
I had no idea
company
Bl-
as a whole.
I had no idea Blade was a Marvel thing.
Yeah, that their Blade helped Blade, and then it was X-Men, and then it was Spider-Man. Those movies brought Marvel back because they were about to go bankrupt. That's why they sold all their like IPs to like different companies.
Well, Blade was the first one was like it's okay. It wasn't like the worst. I think the second one was definitely the best one. The
Yeah.
third one was okay too.
Yeah.
It's funny to think they were gonna go bankrupt and then fucking Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the 90s, like after the Spider-Man cartoon and the X-Men cartoon, they were able to go bankrupt because comics weren't selling good and they didn't really have anything else going at the time.
I think that's kind of like crazy to believe that's like. Well, I think like now comics are more socially acceptable because back then it was like if you liked the comics then you're kind of like.
I don't know,
shunned.
man. In the 90s, Marvel comics were the shit. Like people
They were, but you were like, it was kind of like the trend that like people who liked comics would just be socially shunned. Like it's like you were
Yeah.
like not an adult if you liked comics.
I think the first generation of that not being a thing was the 90s. Like that age of kids, like when you start, like say you're like 8, and then X-Men was starting to get fucking badass in the 90s. Ghost Rider, Wolverine, getting his old comic, Venom, Carnage. People were getting into it.
I don't know why I never really like followed comics. I think it was just because there's so much.
I mean, you
going-
used to go every week.
Yeah, but I never like followed.
You follow. What was that shitty one we followed and it was horrible? The Damien one.
You followed that. I didn't care.
You
about
read
that.
mine though.
Yeah.
It wasn't good at all. And what was that one that we both followed? Arkham Wars. We both followed that one.
What happened in that one?
All the bad guys are trying to take over.
You mean the game?
It was called Arkham Wars, but I don't know what they actually called it in the comics.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
Probably because it was
The only
shitty.
ones I ever followed was like Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, and then after that was like a little bit of like the like it was like really random points I followed.
You were following the Green Lantern for a while. That
yeah,
one
I
arc.
wanted to try to find the book that's like Emerald Knight. That's the one where like cyber Superman. I was about to call him Cyberpunk Superman or whatever.
Cyborg Superman.
Yeah, Cyborg Superman like destroyed Coast City, and then the Green Lantern like Hal Jordan gets like fucking crazy because he has like the power to like rebuild everything, right?
Yeah.
And then the Green Lantern Corps like you can't do that because the rings aren't for your personal gain or whatever. And he like flips out, murders everyone, steals all their power rings, and becomes like Sinestro, and he's just fucking not Parallax, he becomes Parallax, and he fucking
Yeah.
goes ape shit crazy, and it's like that's like really badass, like you know what I mean?
It really is. Well, what's that other one you got?
Flashpoint.
Where Doctor Doom and
Oh,
someone.
Doctor Doom, and that was oh my
that
god.
one was good.
I love that story. So Doctor Doom and it starts off with Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange
That's
taking
who it
part
is,
in like the who's gonna be called like the new what's the title? Master of Magic or something like
Supreme.
that. Oh yeah, that's the one. Sorcerer Supreme. So they take place in this
No,
tournament.
Fry Supreme.
Fry Supreme. Yes.
Nacho Supreme.
So they take place in this tournament, and then like Doctor Strange obviously wins, and Doctor Doom's like harumph. But he's like not too bitter about it. In fact, he didn't even want to he didn't want the title to begin with. He only went there because he knew that Strange was going to be there and he wanted Strange's help. And he's like, "What do you need my help with?" He's like, "Well, my mother's in hell and I kind of don't want her to be in hell." So that's pretty much
The tale is old as time.
Buy it a nickel.
I forget what it was. I think his mother got cursed by like a gypsy woman, and so he like feels like he wants to correct this mistake. So him and Strange go to hell, and they fight Mephisto. But obviously he has all the power because that's his like domain, right? And like it was funny because there's like one point where like Doom is like, I was testing this, he made an antimatter gun and he shot it, and antimatter like just is like a massive like It destroys anything it touches. Essentially, it's like it's worse than like anything.
Yeah.
And Mephisto is like, meh, because it's like because he's in hell. He's like
Yeah.
he's immortal in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so what happens is that Doom, like, he realizes that like the thing that happened to his mom can't be undone. So he like makes a deal where he's like, I'll take my mother's place instead. It's been a while since I read this, but I think like something happened in the book where like he did a good deed, but his mother was actually kind of like an actual horrible person, and I think, and something happened where like it canceled out his
Good deed.
good deed. So he came back to Earth, and his mother's still in hell, I believe. I could be remembering this wrong. I don't. I just remember something happened where he made that bargain, but then like he regretted it or something because it turned out his mother was like,
A bitch.
I guess, I don't know. I have to reread it. I could be completely wrong. I don't want to be wrong with this sort of thing. But it was easily like the coolest story I've read by Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom. I think
Yeah.
something like that teaming up is like you have to give it a read.
Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange going to hell.
Pretty
Pretty cool. Have you ever read any of the Marvel Monster comics?
No, I know of them. Like I know
We watched something.
what.
That technically was Marvel.
I mean,
No, the Dracula thing.
what?
The anime was not Marvel,
Oh yeah, it was.
and the Frankenstein one wasn't as good at all. That one was actually kind of boring.
I think that's kind of funny that
The
like
Dracula one was fucking awesome.
I think it's kind of funny that like Marvel's just like let's just take Santa Claus, Frankenstein, and put them all in our universe. They're like canon in our
I have a
universe.
Spider-Man comic where the cover is Santa Claus with aviators on, a cigarette hanging out his mouth, and a gun, like
Yes,
James Bond.
So Andrew, I
That's
don't know
why
if I
Santa.
don't know if you noticed, but Santa Claus is like an actual character in the Marvel universe. He's like one of the strongest mutants ever. He's a mutant too.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How else does he get it to every house? In the
Yeah,
world?
that's like that's the point. He has like this magical power that's like he gives you gifts that you want, and he's like he's super strong. And there's like a cartoon episode where like Loki tries to take that power away from them. I love.
So is there like full-on Santa Claus comics?
no, he's just in.
I think he's
comics.
just a cameo
Yeah.
kind of thing. I don't know.
It'd be sick if he had his own.
Like I think because I have some Marvel Christmas issues, and I think he's like one of the main characters in a few. It's like one of those comics with like 4 different stories in it.
So back to the show. They take part in this tournament where it's like if
Did they
you
know what
What?
they're doing?
Yeah, they told them. They told them that they're going to release a monster.
No, I mean like going there. Did they know? Did they just think they're going
They
there
weren't
for a
supposed
wake?
to release the monster. They're supposed to kill it.
Well, that's the thing. In a maze, they're releasing a monster in a maze. that
The
you have to-
people
Oh,
are
yeah.
releasing it on them, and they have to
Oh,
hunt this
okay,
man.
yeah.
And the bloodstone is in him, which
I think
in the
what
monster
happened
is
was that
man thing.
I think as far as what they know, they were like, okay, our leader is dead, but he made a will, so he's like, we're all taking part to see if he like left us anything, pretty much. I think that's the
That's what it
basis.
seemed like because the Elsa came and she's
Yeah.
like, "Just give me the bloodstone. I'll
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here."
yeah.
Yeah.
I love her. Yeah, she has like that attitude. That's just like
They all know each other. It seemed for the most part, but how come no one's like, "Hey, Jack, we don't know you."
they kind of know him ish. Like they know he's done a lot of work, but he
They
probably
didn't know
doesn't-
he was a
Well, they
werewolf.
said that he
He
was
doesn't take part
there.
in meetings. He's like he's not
Ah.
social.
They've done this before, though, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that why he was there because he was in it before, or something like that.
Did he not know that it repels monsters?
I'm sure he did.
Because why did he try to touch it? That was what I was thinking when that happened. He must not have known.
He couldn't.
He had to have known because
Why would he have touched it?
He wouldn't have known.
he told Swamp or Man Thing literally that the stone would do that. It would have that.
He said that it takes his power. He didn't say it would fuck him up, did he?
Well, maybe he just didn't know the.
I'm
full-
asking. I don't remember. Did
Yeah.
he say that to Man Thing?
Yeah,
That
he
it would
did.
fuck him up if he touched it?
Well, that's the thing is like when he was okay. So Ted Man Thing, he's like like in pain because the stone's like kind of like welded.
I'm gonna
into-
forget.
What?
I read or looked whatever. The origin story Man Thing, just like every other Marvel character, has to do with super soldier serum.
Yeah, it is.
And he tried to modify it, and for some reason injected it into himself in a sacred swamp.
Well, he found out that the person he was helping was experimenting on innocent people.
Yeah, so he wanted to do it on himself.
No, he didn't want to do it on himself. He felt guilty for taking part of this in the first place, so he took the serum. But then they were chasing him down. Then he got shot, and then him.
Oh, the thing I
and
saw just showed him in a sacred swamp, inject a needle into himself, and then he slowly turned into Man Thing.
The thing that I saw was he fell into the swamp. It's not just a swamp. It's
a
like
sacred
a sacred
swamp,
swamp.
yeah.
By some chance, he fell into a sacred swamp with the serum, and then it melded together, and he became Man Thing.
Yeah.
And Man Thing, for all I know, his powers are essentially the same as Swamp Thing. He's like this. The thing is, the comic is very different from in the show. They kind of make it more like he's more human. He has like this like personality to it. Like he's
Yeah.
like more Groot. In the comics, he's less of a human. He's more of like a spiritual entity. Like it's like some sort of like
Well,
kind of like what Swamp Thing is, but doesn't talk. You know what I mean? It's like
I read also Swamp Thing. The idea for Swamp Thing came out first, but Man Thing comics came out first.
Mm.
So they were working on Swamp Thing, but Swamp Thing wasn't put out before Man Thing.
And
Thing, and then the Thing.
Wow.
He's older than both of them.
yeah, and as far as powers go, he's like like
It's Swamp Thing.
yeah, but also he you know
He
how
can
burned-
teleport. We
yeah.
learned.
Yeah, so do you know how he burned those victims or whatever? So it
That's-
turns that power is that he can burn anything so long as there's fear in them.
Yeah. So that's why Jack told Elsa to say Ted to him.
Treat him like a friend.
To you, like, hey Ted, that's a great name you got. That's why he just was like, and calmed
Yeah.
right down because he knew she was cool.
So long as I remember seeing this where like he can kill anything
If
or
they're
burn
scared of
anything
him.
so long not scared of him, just feel fear in general.
Which is usually of him in the situation we saw at least.
Yeah, so it's like a really handy ability where it's like yeah. Get
It's
it?
the handy ability.
Yeah.
I'm gonna burn you.
You're scared of me? Die.
What do you think of all the kills? Because
Uh,
there was a lot of gruesome stuff that we usually don't see in Marvel stuff, which is kind of cool.
I mean, compared to what we saw with that Doctor Strange movie, it was pretty tame.
I don't know. A lot of people got their throat slit though. That's what I'm saying. Usually don't see that type of shit. Like I know that's not
And
like
blood on the screen and stuff like that.
yeah.
Well, when's the last time?
I'm just saying Marvel usually doesn't do that because
Yeah.
like throat slitting's usually pretty frowned upon.
Well, this is a Halloween movie, all right? We don't fuck around with Halloween,
I
okay?
agree.
As
I
we
think they're
should.
pretty cool. I think some of the villains, like the hunters, were really really lame. Like the guy with the bow, he like tried to like
Yeah,
lure
that was
her-
not stupid, but he was stupid.
He was stupid. He tried to lure her in, and like he didn't even look. He just he took his hand around the door and was like, "Did I get you?" like
She just cut off his arm.
yeah, and he just cut off his arm. Like really, like you're supposed to be like world-class hunters for God's sakes. Like,
Yeah,
and you got killed by your own bow. Are you fucking kidding me?
that's awesome though. That was a pretty gruesome kill.
Yeah, I mean the fat guy was like, he was kind of intimidating, I guess. But the fact that
He was kind of stupid off the
he was
bat.
really, but that's the point.
He was
It's
the
like-
only one that made jokes really at the beginning.
Yeah, he's like the generic like tough, stupid guy.
Yeah.
But like I didn't understand like these are supposed to be hunters. Yet that fat guy, the guy who seems like the most bravest, he died because he was afraid of Man Thing. That's why he got burnt. So like you're
Yeah,
supposed
you've been hunting monsters and you see a monster and you get fucking
terrified. Yeah, like are you kidding me?
And like I feel like they've had to have seen Man Thing before.
it's
Because it seems like at the end they made it seem like Jack and Man Thing have so many adventures. Now I'm like, I want to see that show.
well, I don't know exactly. Well, there's no. I don't know what the story is between those two, if there is one. I just know that like there is the Legion of, what is it called? The Legion of.
Monsters.
That's what it's called. Legion of
That's
Monsters.
what you called it before we
Yeah,
started
Legions.
filming.
So in the Marvel comics has like their own like team up of like this one's like the team up of all the horror movie monsters. So they're just called the Legion of Monsters, and it consists of Ghost Rider, Swamp Thing, or Man Thing. God damn it, Man Thing, Morbius, Jack or
Blade?
Blade, Wolfman, some mummy guy that I forgot who his name is, but he's also related.
Knight?
No, it's not Moon Knight, but it is like that's how they.
Moon Knight's in the Midnight Suns with most of the people he just
yeah,
said.
but these this Egyptian guy is what kind of like what ties into Moon.
Is it?
The guy before?
No, it's not the bird. It's not like
It's sure because I know he
it's
has
literally a pharaoh.
he has something to do with the Werewolf 2. I'm pretty sure from what I read.
I just don't know enough. That's the thing. But he's like
Yeah, these are like characters I really don't know anything about. Like I know the Universal Monster.
I don't even know what's more obscure. Like now, people know what Galaxy of the Guardians is. But before that movie
Guardians
came
of
out,
the
Guardians of the Galaxy was. But before that
Because
movie,
read the comics, man. It's shit.
yeah,
James Gunn made those movies. It's good.
it's funny how you can make something shit, but then like now they're like, let's just rechange their personalities and
Because
now
that's what like I forget what I was watching like a while ago, but someone's like, if you told me there was a Guardian Galaxy movie coming out when I was a kid, I'd be like, I don't want to fucking see that shit. But now I watched all of them, and I'm waiting for the third one anxiously.
the last one wasn't that funny though.
I like that one. I always say this, I don't know why, but it reminded me of the Aladdin TV show episode, or like not a specific episode, or like a Hercules or Xena episode.
I just think that there's so many jokes that weren't funny, and they were all like really mean to each other. But I guess that's like the whole point of the show is that they
Yeah.
all are mean to each other. But then it's like we're all misfits, we all have to work together.
Yeah.
I hate that fucking scene where like Rocket's like, "Your name's Taserface," and then he like tries to make everyone else laugh, and it's like not. It's really forced, and it's
Yeah.
like I wasn't laughing. I was
Weren't
really,
they trying to force it to distract them so they can break out?
No, I think they were just doing it just to make the crew like kind of like make him demoralize them or something like that. I don't know.
Well, they were trying to distract him.
Mm,
Pretty sure.
maybe could be a while since I've seen the movie.
We saw it in theaters. That's probably the last time I watched it.
Mm. But yeah, it was like kind of like so he frees his friend. He again like you said, like it doesn't make sense. Why did he touch it? Because it seems like he already knows what it is, right?
Or at least he knew what the powers of it was. Maybe he didn't know it repels him.
Yeah, it's kind of like a.
But then again, Man Thing so is he not technically a monster Man Thing? Because it was on him.
Well, maybe it just has different effects. Who knows?
Because he's made out of I don't know, like trees and shit.
Well, he's technically a mutant or something.
He's
right?
not a
He's
mutant.
not a mutant at
He's
all.
He's
He's just a guy who fell in a mystical
he's
swamp.
mutated man.
Yeah. In a mystical swamp, though. That's where the monster part, I guess, comes from.
he's more like magic than mutant.
It's weird that in Marvel they consider the people who are born with powers mutants, but then people who mutate are not mutants.
Well, mutants is an actual, like... It's an actual evolution in a person's body. It's, like, genetically, like, they turned into, like...
Well,
their
technically, Spider-Man mutated.
So did the Hulk.
Yeah.
So did everybody.
The
I guess-
Fantastic Four technically mutated in ways.
Well, there's, like,
Their
this thing-
DNA changed, so that means they're mutated.
Well, there's a show that's, like, I watched that's, like, there's people that have the powers, but there's different, like... They call it, like, Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3.
Yeah.
Gen 1 are like the pure bloods, like they're born with it. Gen 2 are people who like have like I guess Spider-Man would be like that, where he like
Yeah.
he got bit by a spider and his DNA got changed, outside as well.
What show is that?
It's like this. It's like an anime that I watch. It's like a really.
Oh, so it's
I
not.
Like it. I
It's
like
not
it.
this universe. then.
No, I like
Oh.
it. It's just I think the writing is kind of shit. It's called Fairy Tale.
Oh,
there's,
I've
like-
heard about that.
Yeah, and there's like these people who are dragon slayers. There's dragon slayers who are born with the power to slay dragons. There's dragon slayers who are imbued with the power to slay dragons, and then there's dragon slayers who like are genetically altered. I don't know. It's like really like they're all called dragon slayers, but it's like whatever. This time it's like mutants are just there's no like different. There's like if you're born with powers, you're a mutant, but if you're like Spider-Man, then you're just a freak. I don't know.
What do you think about Man Thing throwing Elsa's stepmother into her father's dead body?
I think it was poetic justice.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think it's kind of stupid. That
What do you think the future of all these characters are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I'm expecting maybe another team up kind of thing. Like maybe Morbius is gonna be like.
People keep saying, "Yo, Midnight Suns is coming."
What's that?
It's like a team of like Ghost Rider, Moon Knight. I just said
Wolfman.
like no,
Man thing?
no,
Frankenstein.
no,
Nobody.
no one. 1 second. I literally was just talking about it to you like a second ago.
Blade.
Yeah.
Blade.
Blade.
Yeah.
Blade, Moon Knight, and who?
Oh, there's a video game for Midnight Suns coming out. What the fuck? Well, let's see who's in that. Oh, Wolverine. It's a cool team, Alex. It's not Spider-Man, but it's like a different type of spider person. Wolverine, I think it's Superior Spider or Iron Man, Blade, Scarlet Witch, and Ghost Rider in the video game ones. They're the one that's coming out.
Well, it seems like they're heading in that direction because all those characters are now in the universe,
That's what I mean. I don't know. They gotta do something.
and they are doing stuff with all those characters right now. So it seems like a natural.
Imagine
progression.
Moon Knight and like Man Thing and just fucking Jack the Werewolf just fucking around.
I guess they're kind of cool. Like, I never watched the cartoon show like Avengers
Which one?
Assemble,
Yeah, I've watched it occasionally.
but apparently
like when it was on
they're
Teletoon.
in there. Like the Nightmare League is in or
Midnight Suns.
They're in there.
Yeah,
I just never watched the show.
I like Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was a good
That was
one.
a good one.
The guy who voices Thor in Avengers Assemble, he was the narrator of this show, like in the beginning, where he's like, "There are men who fight villains."
Oh, this
is,
Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. What's kind of funny is that like Marvel Zombies, right?
Yeah.
I wish they made a movie about that.
Oh, you're talking about her aunt?
What?
You're able to talk about her aunt?
What about her aunt?
Oh, you mentioned Marvel Zombies.
I mentioned Marvel Zombies because the thing I was going to talk about is connected to that. Because it shows like there's different, like obviously different Earths. There's the Marvel Zombies Earth, and then there's like this Earth of 616 or whatever. There's an Earth. I remember when like Ash from The Walking Dead is like going through all the different Marvel Earths, and he wounds up in the Earth where like everyone's a werewolf. So
Yeah.
that was kind of funny because he just like groovy. Like he just like sees werewolf Thor, werewolf like Wolverine, werewolf like Captain America and Thor, and they're all like, "You guys smell fresh blood." And it's just like Ash just puts on his chainsaw hand, and he's just like, "Here we go again." Like, I just
That is funny.
everyone's just a werewolf.
Marvel's like, you know what? Fuck copyright laws. We're
Well,
just
who
gonna
owns
take
the right to
everyone.
Wolfman?
Universal.
Then they're fine. They can do that.
How?
Do they not? Does Marvel not have?
Universal.
Disney.
Universal owns Universal.
Yeah. Universal owns other companies.
Why do you think it's not called
Our
just Dracula? It's Werewolf by Night, not Wolfman.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
The Dracula's not just
Well,
straight up called Dracula.
Marvel, you gotta hurry up and own Universal, then I guess.
Own Universal.
It would actually be Disney, but
Oh, Disney, yeah, you gotta go. I forget. Yeah, Disney can own Universal.
Hmm?
they're like main competitors.
You can own your main competitor.
I mean, that's the goal, but
It
So what's your overall thought on this movie, short movie?
was good. I mean, yeah, it's a short thing. But
Oh, fuck. The Wizard of Oz. I like that.
what?
They played Somewhere Over the Rainbow at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't think of this till after. The Bloodstone is the only thing that's red the whole movie, kind of like the ruby slippers were the only thing that were red in the Wizard of
no,
Oz.
there's some. No, wait, you're right. It's just the red.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah.
When they play Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is another Wizard of Oz thing.
I thought there was other red too,
No.
but no.
The shit coming out of the stone.
yeah, yeah.
The Bloodstone. What do you rate this movie, Alex? Out of out of 10 Bloodstones?
7.
I'm excited to see where it goes, so I'll give it an 8.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8 as well.
I'm excited to see what Marvel does with monsters. And
I think we just
all
really
the dark
enjoy, like,
characters.
Yeah, I think we just really
Yeah.
enjoy like these kinds of like nightmare monster movie
Well,
tropes.
because we've had 12 years now of like, let's go get them.
This is for the kids.
Yeah. Now
Nah,
Marvel.
we're- It's for
'cause
us.
those kids grew up with Marvel, so now they're in their 20s. Those kids say that were 10 when Iron Man came out. Now they're adults, and now it's time to start fucking
I
saying
still
shit.
remember
a lot more.
watching Iron Man in theaters, man. That shit came out like 12 years ago. More than
2008.
that. Oh fuck yeah, that's more than that. I remember watching that when I was in media arts class with
Yep.
good times.
Anything else to say, Andrew? And on that note, we'll werewolf you later.
It's more than
Ouch.
time.
You yelled at Andrew for
It-
saying that.
It's funny and stupid, but it's funny.
All right. Bye.